Ask any normal person to name a disturbing or horrific character and they'll immediately go to Freddy Krueger, Jigsaw or Annabelle from the world of cinema, and Pennywise or Annie Wilkes from their favourite horror novels. Gamers, however, will try to give you a very different answer, as we have our own retinue of absolutely abhorrent creations to choose from. Whilst gaming has given the world some truly iconic and memorable heroes like Mario or Lara Croft, it has also birthed some of the most nightmarish, villainous and legitimately disturbing creations you'll ever see along the way. The kind of characters you cannot bear to look at, instantly recoil from, or feel like there's just something not quite right about. So I am Kirsten from WhatCulture, and here then are 10 disturbing video game characters we'll never forget, despite how much we may want to. Number 10, The Nurse, Silent Hill. While it's hardly a hot take or a startling new revelation, not sorry, to state here that the nurses in Silent Hill are as creepy as all hell, it is no less true for its widespread acceptance. These blood-drenched, disturbingly contorted, faceless but exposed jaw and tooth creatures are a mainstay of the Silent Hill series. Carrying dirty scalpels and convulsing in horribly inhuman ways, these bizarrely over-sexualized monsters are all cleavage and short skirts, representing the sexual insecurity and discomfort of those whose minds these nightmarish nightingales sprung. Second only to good old Pyramid Head, these practitioners of pain are as infamous as the series itself, and with good reason. They're absolutely horrendous. It is very hard to forget these nightmare nurses once you've had the pleasure. Number 9, Tammy and Bray ABERDEEN, Red Dead Redemption 2. Sometimes your gut feeling is absolutely correct, even if you believe it can't possibly be. When Arthur Morgan stumbles upon the Aberdeen pig farm in Red Dead Redemption 2 and is enthusiastically and insistently invited inside for a drink and a hot meal by the two absolute textbook rednecks, that old spidey sense should be starting to tingle. Because the overweight, unkept, side boob bearing brother Bray and his mutton dressed as lamb sister Tammy are just a little too insistent. Once Arthur agrees to go inside to eat the tender meat he can't quite place, which is a massive red flag, he is subsequently drugged, robbed and dumped outside in a shallow grave. During the course of this insidious encounter, we find out that besides just being unsettling creeps, Tammy and Bray are also an incestuous couple who killed their own mother, have committed several murders since, and are almost certainly cannibals. They probably ate their mother, let's just be honest. Upon waking in the dirt, Arthur does get to go back to the farm to take his revenge on these insidious siblings, should the player choose, and most players probably will. Number 8, the Xenomorph, Alien Isolation. Probably the most instantly recognisable antagonist on this list, a sense of familiarity does not distract from the Xenomorph's effectiveness as an entity of unbridled terror. Whilst we have seen the famous alien in many forms and in many games over the years, Alien Isolation is the focus here. Simply put, you have not known the stress and tension until you have skulked slowly around Sevastopol Station in near darkness, but for blinking lights, every step sounding like thunder to your ears. The adaptive AI in Alien Isolation, which is also known as AI, bizarrely, means that the Xenomorph learns and can stalk you more effectively, and that no two playthroughs will ever be the same. If you make one wrong move, sprint when you should have crawled, needlessly fired a weapon, or stayed too close to an air vent, it's game over, man. Game over. Number 7, The Master, Fallout series. A mutated, mangled and misshapen monster, the Master is a character whose appearance and motivations are equally disturbing. His classic appearance is a sinister fusion of multiple humans and mutants alike, and his voice a mechanical synthesis of digitized voice samples. The Master is no longer one distinct person. Believing himself a perfect being, the Master tasked his minions with kidnapping humans upon whom to experiment, dipping them into the same FEV from which he himself was born. Absorbing and merging the electronic systems as well as living organisms, the Master became a chimera, a truly evil hybrid of a man, machine, and mutant alike. Number 6, all NPCs, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone / Chambers of Secrets. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone for the original PlayStation is actually a great and much-loved game. Featuring third-person platforming and broomstick-flying shenanigans aplenty, this was a staple of many gamers' childhood collections. It is clear, however, that the character model budget was spent entirely on making Harry himself look good, as literally every single NPC at Hogwarts, teacher and student alike, are absolutely terrifying. Neville Longbottom looks like some kind of blind cave-dwelling lizard creature which has never seen sunlight, and Hagrid's flat blobfish-like unblinking face inviting Harry to come round to his hut after dark to do him a favour is... well, you can finish that train of thought yourselves. It's still a great game, just don't play it before bed or you'll be reaching for the nightlight faster than you can say, Flipendo knockback jinx! Number 5, MONSTRO, The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. To be honest, practically any enemy or boss from The Binding of Isaac could be included here, but MONSTRO is just slightly ahead of the game, and also literally ahead. This disembodied, bouncing, smiling head is gruesome to behold and difficult to stomach. In gameplay terms, MONSTRO is not too difficult a boss to dispatch. His movement's slow and predictable enough to avoid with relative ease, and his projectile tears not so strong as not to cause too much damage to little Isaac. But it's that face which makes him such a horror, especially when he cracks that horrific, nothing going on behind the eyes, sadistic gummy smile. Number 4, The Moon, Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. Now, Majora's Mask is a strange game at the best of times, and was not at all what Ocarina of Time fans were expecting from a follow-up title. The townsfolk in Zelda games are always weird as all hell, and the overall tone is off-putting and uncomfortable throughout. Then, there's the moon. As if the prospect of the moon crashing into Termina in the first place is not already frightening enough, this moon has a face. Not the stereotypical man in the moon face from nursery rhymes, but a terrifying, maniacal, deranged, almost ecstatic face, which is one of the creepiest things you'll ever see. The enormous murderous satellite just looks so pleased with himself and what he's about to do. Like he's absolutely over the... okay, never mind. Number 3, VOLDO, SOULCALIBUR. The fighting game genre does have a knack of throwing up weird and wonderful characters, from Goro and Meat in Mortal Kombat to Street Fighter's 2 Blanca. None, however, even come close to SOULCALIBUR's VOLDO from the sheer terror he evokes. Blind, seemingly incapable of speech, attired in leather and metal accoutrements, this contortionist killing machine is like Edward Scissorhands turned to the dark side. Like something out of Silent Hill, VOLDO can fight with his back to his opponent, can scuttle across the ground upside down and backwards like some sort of crazed crustacean, and has massive knives strapped to his hands. Even his idle animations are horrendous to behold, as he weaves and flails around like he's suspended in an invisible and obviously demonic water tank, meaning there is little respite from his unique brand of abject horror. A true nightmare from mast top to manacled bottom, VOLDO more than deserves his moment in the spotlight here. Number 2, The DOLLMAKER, Alice Madness Returns. Rapist of Alice's sister, murderer of her whole family, arsonist, child sex trafficker, and mutilator of children, Angus Bumby is an absolute horror in more than just appearance. The main antagonist in America McGee's dark and twisted Alice Madness Returns, this spindly, pale phantom with black tar pouring from his mouth and eye sockets is abhorrent in the flesh as the deeds in his biography. A psychiatrist by trade, Bumby has Alice Liddell in his care, traumatised as she was by the fire and subsequent deaths Bumby himself is responsible for. In his real-world guise as Angus Bumby, this psychopathic psychiatrist manipulates children into forgetting their past traumas, freeing them to his mind, only to sell them into the sex trade. His Wonderland counterpart, the Dollmaker, is equally sinister in motive, turning the same children into mindless, inhuman dolls devoid of memory, emotion, or free will, making them merely an army to do his dastardly bidding. This is one instance where, despite the Dollmaker's terrifying physical appearance and haunting voice, his actions, past deeds, motivations, and future plans are actually more disturbing, ensuring he ironically lives long in your memory. Number 1. OOCCOO, Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. In short, OOCCOO is basically a bird with a human head and breasts. Did we also mention the red eyes, which can definitely see into your soul and steal your memories? The official classification for this particular species is an OOCCOO, and this specific character from the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess is a female OOCCOO named OOCCOO. The unofficial classification is as follows. What the hell is this weird man-chicken nightmare creature? OOCCOO is obtained in Twilight Princess to aid Link in his adventures by allowing him to warp in and out of dungeons at will. But why anyone would accept help from this demon of the skies is beyond comprehension. Seriously, a clearly deceased human head atop an avian body with the eyes the Dark Lords of the Sith would be proud of. Definitely screams friendly, doesn't it? And that's our list. I hope you somewhat enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you didn't, I'm sorry for the inevitably imposing nightmares to come. But for now, I've been Kirsten from WhatCulture, and I'm gonna go cry in the shower.